Deep inside a quiet rural town near Asheville, North Carolina, there was a family whose life looked completely normal from the outside, but behind their peaceful home was a terrifying secret that would change everything forever. This is the story shared by our subscriber Olivia Parker, who says that what happened to her family was something she still struggles to forget even today. Olivia lived with her family in a small countryside area surrounded by old trees, empty roads, and a large forest area that separated their home from her elder sister Sophia Parker's house. Sophia was married to Ethan Miller, who worked a government job and lived with his wife and their newborn baby in a government residential apartment a few miles away from Olivia's home. The distance between both houses was not very far, but there was one dangerous path between them. A lonely road covered by thick woods where very few people traveled after dark. Olivia's family included 5 members. Her parents Daniel Parker and Rachel Parker, her younger brother Lucas Parker, her elder sister Sophia, and Olivia herself. Daniel worked outside the town, and because of his job he was away most of the time. At home, Rachel, Olivia, and Lucas managed their small family store, which they had been running for years. Sophia had married very young, and after having her first baby she started facing difficulties taking care of the child. Because of her young age and lack of experience, she often became exhausted while handling the baby alone. That was when Rachel and Olivia started helping her every day. After closing their small store in the evening, they would drive through the forest road and reach Sophia's house. They would help with the baby's feeding and care, and after finishing everything they would return home late at night. This became their daily routine. Ethan Miller had a very demanding government job. His duty schedule was unpredictable, and sometimes he had to leave home suddenly, even during late nights. Many times when Olivia and Rachel were returning home, Ethan would still be outside working. Everyone in the family had accepted this routine because they believed they were only helping their daughter and sister during a difficult phase of life. But none of them knew that the same forest road they crossed every day was hiding something dark, something that was waiting for the perfect moment. Olivia explains that her mother Rachel was a very spiritual person. She always believed in prayers and followed a disciplined lifestyle. While other family members enjoyed different kinds of food, Olivia preferred a simple spiritual life. Before sleeping every night she would sit quietly and pray. She believed that faith protected people from negative energy and unknown dangers. One evening everything started like a normal day. After closing the family store, Olivia took her mother Rachel in their car and went to Sophia's house. They spent several hours helping with the baby. The child was finally sleeping peacefully when they decided to leave. Usually they returned home around 10 p.m., but that night something happened which delayed everything. At around 4:45 in the morning, Sophia suddenly called Olivia. Her voice sounded worried and scared. She said, "Olivia, please come quickly. The baby has been crying for a long time and I cannot calm him down. Ethan is still on duty and he will not return soon. I do not know what to do." Hearing her daughter's worried voice, Rachel immediately got up and said, "We need to go there right now. Maybe the baby is not feeling well." Without wasting any time, Olivia started the car and Rachel sat beside her. The distance was only a few miles, so they reached Sophia's house quickly. Rachel managed to calm the baby after some time. Slowly the crying stopped and the baby finally fell asleep. Everyone felt relieved, but by the time everything became normal it was already late at night. Around 11:40 p.m. Ethan finally returned home after completing his duty. When he saw Olivia and Rachel preparing to leave, he immediately said, "It is too late now. I will drop both of you home. The forest road is not safe at this hour." But Rachel smiled and replied, "No, Ethan, you just came back from work. You must be exhausted. We travel this road every day. Nothing will happen. We will reach home safely." Ethan tried to convince them again, but Rachel refused. Finally, Olivia and Rachel left Sophia's house and started their journey back home. They had no idea that this decision would become the biggest mistake of their lives, because that night when they crossed the dark forest road, something followed them back home, something that was not human. The night was completely silent as Olivia Parker drove through the lonely forest road with her mother Rachel sitting beside her. The headlights of the car were the only source of light cutting through the darkness. The tall trees on both sides of the road looked like dark shadows standing still and watching them pass. Olivia had crossed this road hundreds of times before. For years this path had been a normal part of their daily routine. She never felt afraid because she always believed that nothing unusual could happen here. But that night something felt different. Rachel was sitting quietly beside her. She was holding her phone in her hand and looking outside the window without saying a single word. Olivia noticed her mother's unusual silence, but she did not ask anything. She thought maybe Rachel was just tired after spending the whole day helping Sophia and the baby. After driving for a few minutes, they finally reached the middle part of the forest road. This was the same area where the trees became thicker and the road became darker. Suddenly, Rachel's phone slipped from her hand and fell outside the car. Rachel immediately said, "Olivia, stop the car. My phone fell behind." Olivia slowly applied the brakes and stopped the car on the side of the road. She looked at her mother and said, "Mom, wait here. I will get it." But Rachel quickly replied, "No, I will get it. You stay here." Rachel opened the door and stepped outside. She walked back toward the place where her phone had fallen. Olivia watched her mother disappear into the darkness. A few moments passed. Rachel picked up the phone, but instead of coming back to the car, she started walking toward the deeper side of the forest. Olivia was confused. She opened the car window and shouted, "Mom, where are you going? Come back quickly. We are getting late." At that moment, Rachel suddenly stopped walking. She slowly turned around and looked toward Olivia. And what Olivia saw at that moment was something she could never forget. She says her mother had a strange smile on her face. It was not the normal loving smile she had seen her entire life. There was something unusual about it, something cold and frightening. Rachel slowly walked back toward the car. She did not say anything. She simply opened the door and sat inside. Then she loosened her hair and looked straight ahead. Olivia felt uncomfortable, but she stayed quiet. After a few seconds, she asked, "Mom, did you find your phone?" Rachel calmly replied, "Yes." Olivia started driving again. But inside her heart, a strange fear had already started growing. She could not understand why her mother behaved like that. After reaching home, they both entered their rooms. Olivia and Rachel slept in separate rooms. Before sleeping every night, Olivia followed her usual habit. She sat quietly and prayed. She believed that remembering God before sleep gave her peace and protection. That night around 12:30 a.m., Olivia was sitting in her room praying. Her room door was slightly open. The kitchen was beside her room and Rachel's room was on the other side. Everything was completely quiet. Suddenly, Olivia saw a shadow move quickly outside her room. She looked up and saw her mother Rachel running toward the kitchen. Olivia became surprised. She wondered why her mother was running like that. She thought maybe Rachel was thirsty and went to drink water. But something inside her mind kept asking the same question. Why did she run? Why did she not simply walk? Olivia waited for a few minutes. She expected her mother to return to her room. But Rachel did not come back. After waiting for a while, Olivia slowly stepped out of her room and looked toward the kitchen. And what she saw made her completely shocked. Her mother was standing near the kitchen sink. The refrigerator door was open. Rachel had taken several raw eggs from inside and was eating them without cooking. She had already eaten 4 or 5 eggs. After that, she washed her face with water and quietly walked back to her room. Olivia stood there frozen. She wanted to ask her mother what was happening, but something stopped her. She decided to wait until morning. The next morning, when Olivia saw her mother again, she noticed something strange. There were deep scratch marks on Rachel's neck. Olivia immediately asked, "Mom, what happened to your neck? Who scratched you?" But Rachel did not answer. She ignored the question and quietly went toward the family store. That entire day she worked normally. She behaved like nothing had happened. But Olivia could not forget what she had seen during the night. Something had changed, and she knew that the strange events had only just begun. The next evening, everything looked normal again from the outside. Rachel Parker opened the family store in the morning just like every other day. She talked with customers, smiled normally, and completed all her daily work. Anyone who saw her would think that nothing was wrong. But Olivia Parker could feel that something had changed. Her mother was not behaving the same way anymore. There was a strange silence around her, a feeling that something was hidden behind her normal appearance. As usual, after closing the store in the evening, Olivia and Rachel prepared to go to Sophia's house. Helping Sophia with the baby had become a part of their daily life. Olivia started the car and Rachel sat beside her. They drove through the same forest road they had crossed thousands of times before. But since the previous night, Olivia could not look at that road the same way. Every tree, every shadow, and every sound made her uncomfortable. She kept remembering how her mother had walked toward the forest after picking up her phone. When they reached Sophia's house, they completed their regular work. They helped with the baby's feeding and took care of everything before leaving. Around 10 p.m. they started their journey back home. As soon as they entered the forest road, Olivia felt nervous. She wanted to reach home quickly, but she did not tell her mother anything. After a few minutes, they reached the exact same place where Rachel's phone had fallen the night before. And suddenly something happened again. Rachel's phone slipped from her hand and fell onto the road. Rachel calmly said, "Olivia, stop the car. My phone fell behind." Olivia immediately felt a wave of fear. The same place, the same words, the same situation. She slowly stopped the car. Rachel stepped outside and walked toward the phone. This time Olivia watched every movement carefully. Rachel picked up the phone, but instead of returning immediately she stood there silently. She looked toward the forest. Her eyes were fixed on the dark trees. It looked as if she was waiting for someone. Olivia felt a cold feeling inside her chest. She called out, "Mom, what are you looking at? Come back. We need to go." Rachel did not answer for a few seconds. Then she slowly turned around and walked back to the car. She sat behind Olivia. As soon as Rachel sat down, Olivia felt something strange. She had been driving vehicles since she was young. She knew exactly how much weight a person could add. But that night something felt completely different. It felt as if several people were sitting behind her. The vehicle suddenly felt extremely heavy. Olivia became confused. She thought maybe she was just tired. Maybe the fear in her mind was making her feel this way. But then she noticed something even more disturbing. Rachel's face was very close to her shoulder. Her hair was falling over her face. It looked as if she was trying to look directly at Olivia. Olivia wanted to turn around. She wanted to ask her mother what was wrong. But something inside her stopped her. A strange fear told her not to look back. She thought, what if I see something that I can never forget? So she kept driving silently. Her hands became cold. Her heartbeat became faster. She only focused on reaching home. When they finally arrived, Rachel got down from the car and entered the house without saying anything. Olivia followed her quietly. Both of them changed clothes and went to their rooms. But Olivia could not sleep peacefully. She kept thinking about her mother's strange behavior. She knew something was happening. Something that had no explanation. That night before sleeping, Olivia again started her prayer. She sat on her bed and quietly repeated the name of God. Suddenly she heard a loud scream from Rachel's room. The sound was so terrifying that Olivia immediately stood up. She ran toward her mother's room. When she opened the door, she saw Rachel sitting on the bed and crying. Olivia quickly asked, "Mom, what happened? Are you hurt?" Rachel wiped her tears and said, "Nothing happened. I am just stressed. It is nothing." But Olivia could clearly see fear in her mother's eyes. It was not normal sadness. It looked like someone was fighting a battle inside her. The next morning, when Olivia saw Rachel, her face looked completely different. She looked exhausted and pale, almost like she had not slept for many nights. Olivia became worried. She went to her younger brother Lucas and said, "Look at Mom. Something is wrong with her. Her face has become so pale." Lucas tried to stay practical. He said, "Maybe she is just tired. She has been working too much. Today you handle the store. Let Mom rest for some time." Olivia agreed, but deep inside she knew this was not normal tiredness. Something much darker was happening inside their house, and nobody in the family understood how dangerous it was becoming. The next few days passed in a strange silence. Rachel Parker was still going to the family store every morning and completing her daily work. During the daytime she looked completely normal. She talked with people, smiled at customers, and behaved like the same loving mother Olivia had known her entire life. But when evening arrived, something changed. Her mood became different. Her face became emotionless. And sometimes Olivia felt like she was not looking at her own mother anymore. Still, Olivia tried to ignore those feelings. She believed that maybe her mother was going through some stress or health problem. That evening, after closing the store, Olivia again went with Rachel to Sophia's house. Before leaving, Olivia clearly told her mother, "Mom, if your phone falls again on the way back, I will not stop the car. We have to reach home quickly." Rachel looked at her daughter silently and nodded. Surprisingly, that night nothing unusual happened during their journey back. Rachel behaved completely normal. For the first time in many days, Olivia felt a little relaxed. After reaching home, Olivia decided to sleep in her mother's room because Rachel was not feeling well. Both of them lay down quietly. Before sleeping, Olivia completed her prayer as usual. The room was dark and silent. After some time, both of them fell asleep. But around midnight, Rachel suddenly woke up with a painful scream. Olivia immediately opened her eyes. She saw her mother sitting on the bed and crying. Olivia became frightened and asked, "Mom, what happened? Why are you crying?" Rachel looked at her daughter with helpless eyes. Her voice was shaking. She said, "What is the point of telling you? He will take me with him." Olivia became completely confused. She did not understand what her mother meant. She thought maybe her mother had seen a terrible dream. Maybe fear and stress had affected her mind. Olivia gave her water and tried to calm her down. She said, "Mom, it was only a bad dream. Everything is okay. Try to sleep." After some time, Rachel finally closed her eyes. But Olivia stayed awake for a long time. The next morning, Olivia decided that her mother needed complete rest. She told Rachel, "Mom, you stay at home today. I will manage the store. You do not need to come." Rachel did not reply. She just quietly followed Olivia around the house. Olivia noticed it but ignored it. She went toward the bathroom to take a shower. When she came out after a few minutes, she suddenly stopped. Rachel was standing right outside the bathroom door. Olivia was shocked. Her mother had never behaved like this before. She asked, "Mom, why are you standing here? What happened?" Rachel slowly looked at her daughter. Then she said something that made Olivia's entire body freeze. She said, "I like your body. I will take you with me." For a few seconds Olivia could not even speak. She looked at her mother's face, trying to understand what she had just heard. These words did not sound like her mother. The woman standing in front of her looked familiar, but the way she spoke was completely different. Olivia quietly moved away and went to her room. She closed the door. She applied a small mark of prayer on her forehead. Then she picked up her prayer beads and started chanting. This was the one thing that always gave her peace, but that day even her prayer was disturbed. Rachel entered the room. She looked at Olivia and started speaking in a strange way. She said, "Why are you doing this? Do you think this will save you? Are you pretending?" She started insulting the things Olivia believed in. The prayer beads, the mark on her forehead, the faith she had followed for years. Olivia was shocked, because her mother was the same person who always supported her beliefs. Her mother was the one who encouraged her to pray, but now she was speaking against everything she once respected. 2 more days passed. Rachel became quiet. She stopped talking much. She spent most of her time alone. Olivia hoped that maybe everything was getting better, but she was wrong. Because on the 3rd night, something happened that made Olivia realize whatever was inside her mother was not gone. It was only waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. That night the entire house was completely silent. Everyone had gone to sleep. The outside road was empty and the cold wind was moving through the trees near their house. Olivia Parker was sleeping in her room. She had tried to forget everything that had happened during the past few days, but deep inside her heart she knew something was wrong with her mother Rachel. Around 12:30 at night Olivia suddenly woke up. She felt that someone was sitting beside her on the bed. At first she thought maybe she was dreaming, but when she opened her eyes, her heart almost stopped. Rachel was sitting right beside her. Her face was only a few inches away. Olivia became nervous and asked, "Mom, what happened? Do you need something?" There was no answer. Rachel was just staring at her. Then slowly she raised her hand and touched Olivia's neck. A strange fear ran through Olivia's entire body. She looked carefully at her mother's face, and what she saw terrified her. Rachel's face looked completely different. It was still her mother's body, her mother's clothes, her mother's voice, but her expression was not Rachel's. It looked like someone else was controlling her. Olivia felt frozen. She could not move. She could not scream. To control her fear, she quietly started praying in her mind. She repeated the name of God again and again. After a few moments, Rachel suddenly stood up. Without saying anything, she walked out of Olivia's room. She went directly toward the kitchen. Olivia gathered courage and slowly followed her. What she saw next made her completely terrified. Rachel opened the refrigerator. She took out raw meat, placed it on a plate, and started eating it with both hands. Olivia stood behind the wall and watched silently. She could not believe what she was seeing. Her mother had always avoided such things, but tonight she was behaving like a completely different person. After finishing the meat, Rachel did something even more disturbing. She used the same plate in a strange way and then placed it on the floor. After that she ran back toward her room. Olivia immediately returned to her room. Her hands were shaking. She knew now that something serious was happening. The next morning Olivia made a decision. Their house was newly built, but their old family house was only around 100 meters away. Her uncle Thomas Parker and other family members still lived there. That night Olivia quietly woke up her younger brother Lucas. She told him, "We cannot stay here tonight. Something is wrong with Mom. I am scared she might hurt us." Lucas was confused, but after seeing Olivia's frightened face he did not argue. Both of them quickly left the house and went to their Uncle Thomas's home. When they reached there, Olivia explained everything that had happened. She told him about the forest road, her mother's strange behavior, the midnight incidents, and everything she had witnessed. Thomas listened carefully. His face became serious. After a long silence he said, "Tomorrow morning we will call someone who can help us." That night Olivia could not sleep properly. She kept thinking about her mother. She loved Rachel more than anything. She did not want to believe that something evil had entered her life. The next morning Thomas arrived with a spiritual person named Father Michael Brooks. Father Michael entered the house and carefully looked around. He walked through every room. He checked every corner. Then he performed prayers and spiritual rituals. For the next 2 or 3 days, everything became normal again. Rachel was still quiet, but she was not behaving aggressively. She was not doing anything unusual. Olivia started feeling hopeful. She thought maybe the problem was finally over. Maybe her mother was coming back to normal. But she did not know that the real nightmare was still waiting. Because some things do not leave so easily, and some dark forces do not give up without a fight. For the first time in many days, Olivia Parker felt a little peaceful. After Father Michael Brooks performed the prayers and rituals inside their house, Rachel Parker started behaving more normally. She was still quiet. She did not talk much like before, but at least she was no longer acting strangely. Olivia thought maybe everything was finally coming to an end. She believed that her mother had survived the worst part of whatever was happening, but deep inside she still carried fear, because she remembered everything that had happened before. The strange smile in the forest, the way her mother looked at her, the strange words she spoke, and the terrifying things she had seen at night. A few days passed peacefully. One night Olivia was lying on her bed. For the first time in a long time she felt relaxed. The room was quiet, the lights were off, and she slowly closed her eyes. But suddenly she felt something touch her face. A cold drop fell on her skin. Olivia immediately opened her eyes. At first she thought maybe something had fallen from the ceiling. But when she looked upward, her entire body became frozen. She was staring directly at the ceiling fan, and hanging from it was her mother Rachel. Her body was above her. Her hair was falling downward. Blood was coming from her mouth, and one drop of blood had fallen directly onto Olivia's face. Olivia could not move. She could not understand what she was seeing. Her mind refused to accept reality. Then she looked carefully at Rachel's face, and that was the moment her fear reached another level. Because the face she saw was not completely her mother's. It looked like another face had mixed with Rachel's face. Something unknown. Something terrifying. Olivia wanted to scream, but no sound came out. Her younger brother Lucas was sleeping nearby. Even he could not move because of fear. Both of them remained completely still. After some time, Rachel slowly moved away from the ceiling, and somehow came down through the wall. She walked silently toward her bedroom, without saying a single word. Olivia immediately picked up Lucas. She was no longer able to stay inside that house. She took him again to their Uncle Thomas's home. When Thomas saw them returning in the middle of the night, he immediately understood that something had happened again. Olivia said with tears in her eyes, "Mom is still not okay. Something happened again. I cannot stay there anymore." Thomas looked worried. He told her, "Stay here for now. We will think about what to do next." But after that night, Olivia's health started getting worse. She developed a very high fever. Her body became weak. She stayed at Thomas's house for the next week. During that entire week something strange happened. Rachel never called once. Not even once did she ask where Olivia and Lucas were. A mother who always worried about her children was suddenly completely silent. During the daytime Rachel behaved normally. She went to the store. She completed her work. She talked with people. Nobody could understand that anything was wrong. But as soon as the sun started going down, her behavior changed completely. It was like another person appeared after darkness arrived. Because of this, nobody suspected her. Everyone thought Rachel was simply tired or stressed. Meanwhile, Thomas warned Olivia. He said, "Do not tell Sophia anything right now. Ethan works night shifts. She stays alone with the baby. If she hears all this she will become terrified." So whenever Sophia called, Olivia made excuses. She said, "Mom is not feeling well. I also have some health problems. Maybe after some days everything will become normal." 1 week passed. Olivia slowly started recovering. Her fever reduced. Her strength returned. But the fear inside her heart was still there. One evening she went to the market for some work. The market was on one side of their house, and Thomas's house was just a little further away. While returning from the market, Olivia looked toward her old house, and suddenly she stopped walking, because the main gate of their house was open. From outside she could clearly see inside, and what she saw made her blood run cold. Her mother Rachel was standing near her locked bedroom door. She was hitting the door again and again, crying in a strange voice, calling for help, but something about the scene felt wrong. Olivia wanted to run inside. She wanted to save her mother, but fear stopped her. Then suddenly Rachel moved away from the door. She walked toward the wall, and stood there silently. A few seconds later, Olivia noticed something moving behind her mother. A dark shadow appeared, and it looked like something was pulling Rachel's clothes from behind. Olivia could not watch anymore. She immediately ran back toward Thomas's house. She knew now, this was not just a problem. This was something much more dangerous. Olivia Parker reached her Uncle Thomas's house completely terrified. Her face was filled with fear. Her hands were shaking. She could barely speak properly. Thomas immediately understood that something serious had happened. Olivia looked at him and said, "Uncle, something is happening to Mom. I saw her inside the house. She was crying and hitting the bedroom door. Then I saw something behind her. Something dark was pulling her clothes." Thomas became silent after hearing this. He wanted to go and help Rachel, but the darkness had already covered the outside. The evening had arrived, and Thomas knew that entering that house at this time could be dangerous. He said, "Olivia, wait until tomorrow morning. We will go there together. It is not safe to go there right now." But Olivia could not accept waiting. The thought of her mother being alone inside that house was unbearable. She kept thinking, what if Mom needs me? What if something happens to her? After some time, Olivia made a decision. Without telling anyone, she went back to her house alone. Her heart was beating faster with every step. The house that once felt like the safest place in the world now felt like a place full of darkness. She slowly opened the main door and entered. The entire house was silent. She called out, "Mom, I am here." There was no reply. She walked toward Rachel's room, and what she saw broke her heart. Rachel was lying on the bed without clothes, crying quietly. Olivia immediately looked away. She quickly opened the cupboard, took out the sari, and walked toward her mother. She said, "Mom, wear this. Everything is okay." But the moment Olivia came close, Rachel suddenly sat up. Her eyes looked different. Her expression changed completely. Before Olivia could understand anything, Rachel grabbed her neck tightly. Olivia tried to free herself, but the strength in her mother's hands was not normal. At that moment, Olivia realized something terrifying. This was not her mother. The body belonged to Rachel, but something else was controlling it. Olivia looked at the face in front of her, and she knew. The person standing there was not the mother she loved. She tried to scream. She tried to push her away, but she was helpless. Then suddenly she remembered her faith. With shaking hands, she took out her phone and played a prayer. As soon as the prayer started playing, Rachel immediately released her. She moved away and sat in a corner of the room. Her body started shaking. Her voice changed. She cried and said, "Turn it off. Please turn it off. My body is burning. It will not leave me. My body is burning because of it." Olivia looked at her mother with tears in her eyes. She wanted to help her. She wanted to believe that Rachel was still there somewhere, but she was afraid. Slowly she stopped the prayer. She adjusted her clothes and started walking toward the door. She thought she could finally leave, but the moment she turned around, Rachel suddenly jumped forward. She grabbed Olivia's leg and started pulling her back inside the room. Olivia screamed in fear. She felt like something was trying to take control of the situation again. She used all her strength. She pushed her mother away and somehow managed to escape from the house. She ran straight toward Thomas's home. When she reached there, she was crying and shaking. She told everything to Thomas, but instead of comforting her, Thomas became angry. He said, "Why did you go there alone? Who told you to enter that house at this time? Do you understand how dangerous that was?" Olivia lowered her head. She knew he was right, but she was only trying to save her mother. She quietly went outside and sat alone. She did not know what to do anymore. At that moment, a man appeared in front of her. It was Father Michael Brooks. He looked at Olivia with serious eyes and said, "Do you know the date when your mother's life will completely change?" Olivia looked at him in confusion. Father Michael continued, "June 15th, 2025. After that day, your mother will not remain the same." Olivia started crying. She asked, "Who are you? How do you know all this?" Father Michael looked at her and said, "You do not know me, but I know everything about what is happening." At that moment, Olivia felt like someone had finally arrived who could save her mother. She joined her hands and said, "Please save my mom. I will give you anything you want. Just save her." Father Michael calmly replied, "I do not want your money. I only want you to trust me, because what is inside your mother is not something ordinary. And tonight, we have to face it directly." That night, Olivia Parker followed Father Michael Brooks back to her house. Her heart was filled with fear, but for the first time in many days, she also felt a small hope. Someone finally understood what was happening. Someone finally believed her. When they reached the house, Father Michael did not enter immediately. He stood outside for a few moments. He looked at the building carefully, as if he was feeling something that nobody else could feel. Then he slowly opened the door and walked inside. Olivia followed behind him. Every corner of the house carried painful memories. This was the same place where she had grown up, the same place where her mother had loved and protected her. But now it felt completely different. Father Michael started checking every room. He looked behind furniture. He checked the corners of the walls. He even opened old cupboards and storage areas. Olivia could not understand what he was searching for. Then suddenly Father Michael stopped in front of an old cupboard. He opened it slowly, and what they found shocked Olivia. The entire area inside the cupboard was covered with strange dark marks. There were signs that something disturbing had been happening there for a long time. Father Michael became serious. He said, "This place is holding a very negative energy. Something has been connected to this house for a long time." Olivia stood silently. She never imagined that something like this could exist inside her own home. Father Michael cleaned the area carefully. He checked the kitchen drawers, the walls, the corners of the rooms. He performed prayers in every place where he felt something unusual. After completing everything, he asked Olivia to sit in the middle of the room. Then he created a protective circle around her. He looked directly into her eyes and said, "No matter what happens, no matter what you see, no matter what your mother says, do not step outside this circle. Do you understand?" Olivia nodded with fear in her eyes. Father Michael then moved toward Rachel's room. Rachel was sitting quietly. Her face looked tired. Her eyes looked empty. Father Michael started performing prayers. The atmosphere inside the house suddenly became heavy. The air felt colder. The lights started flickering. Olivia sat inside the circle and watched everything. She wanted to run toward her mother, but she remembered Father Michael's warning. After some time, Father Michael placed his hand on Rachel and started praying louder. Then he said in a strong voice, "Whoever you are, leave this woman. This body does not belong to you. Leave now, or you will face consequences." The moment he said these words, Rachel's body started shaking violently. Her voice changed. It was no longer the voice Olivia knew. She looked toward Olivia and started crying. She said, "Please save me. Please remove him from me. I cannot handle this anymore." Olivia's heart broke after hearing her mother's voice. Every part of her wanted to run and hold Rachel. But Father Michael immediately looked at her and warned, "Do not move. Stay inside the circle. This is not the moment to trust what you see." Rachel continued crying. She said, "Please Olivia, help me. He will take me away. He will not leave me." But Father Michael remained calm. He knew something was trying to emotionally control Olivia. After realizing Olivia was not leaving the circle, Rachel's expression suddenly changed. Her crying stopped. Her face became frightening. Her voice became deep and different. She looked at Olivia and said, "Fine. If I cannot take your mother, I will take you too. I will not leave you. You will suffer the same way." Olivia felt tears in her eyes. She had never heard such words from her mother before. The room became completely silent. Then suddenly Rachel fell to the ground. And at that exact moment, Olivia saw something leave her body. A dark shadow came out and moved toward the window. Outside their house there was an old tree. The shadow moved and sat on one of its branches. Father Michael looked outside. The shadow started speaking in a deep male voice. "I will not let her go. No matter what you do, she belongs to me. You cannot stop me." The words echoed through the night. Olivia stood frozen. She finally understood. The thing controlling her mother was not a sickness. It was something much darker. Something that had followed her mother from that forest road. The room became completely silent after those terrifying words. Olivia Parker could not move. She was still trying to understand what she had just witnessed. A dark shadow sitting on the old tree outside their house. A voice that did not belong to any human. And her own mother lying helpless on the floor. Father Michael Brooks continued his prayers without stopping. He looked calm, but Olivia could see the seriousness on his face. After a few moments, the shadow disappeared into the darkness. The cold feeling inside the house slowly started fading. Father Michael walked toward Rachel. He sprinkled holy water over her and helped her sit up. Rachel opened her eyes slowly. She looked weak and confused, as if she had just woken up from a terrible nightmare. She looked at Olivia and started crying. "Olivia, what happened to me? Why am I here?" Olivia immediately wanted to run toward her mother, but Father Michael stopped her for a moment. He said, "Your mother is still weak. Give her some time. The connection has been broken for now, but this is not completely finished." Olivia looked at him with fear and asked, "What was inside my mother? What was that thing?" Father Michael took a deep breath and replied, "The night you and your mother crossed that forest road, something followed her. It tried to enter her body. It is a dark spirit that attaches itself to people. It found a weakness and slowly started controlling her." Olivia remembered everything. The strange behavior, the forest, the phone falling at the same place again and again, the heavy feeling while driving. Everything started making sense. Father Michael continued, "Your mother was protected for a long time because of your faith, your prayers, and the positive energy around you. That is why it could not completely harm you." Olivia looked down silently. She realized that her faith had helped her survive many moments when she could have been completely helpless. Father Michael gave Olivia a small locket. He tied it around her wrist and said, "Keep this with you all the time. Do not remove it. It will protect you from negative energy." Then he told Olivia to take Rachel back to her bedroom and let her rest. Olivia helped her mother walk slowly. That night Rachel slept peacefully for the first time in many days. Everyone thought maybe everything was finally getting better. But the next few days were still difficult. Rachel was no longer aggressive like before. She did not try to hurt anyone, but she was still not completely normal. Sometimes she would suddenly stand in one corner of the house and stare at nothing. Sometimes she would remove her clothes and just sit silently. Other times she would leave the store during the afternoon and lock herself inside her room. Olivia understood that her mother was still fighting something inside her, but compared to the past, there was a huge difference. She was not violent anymore. She was not trying to harm anyone. Father Michael had already given Olivia another date for a final prayer ceremony. Olivia waited for that day. She believed that after that final ritual her mother would completely recover. During this time Olivia and Rachel continued working at the family store. One afternoon Rachel suddenly told Olivia, "I am feeling a little tired. I want to rest for some time." Olivia looked at her mother and said, "Okay mom, go and rest. I will handle the store." Rachel slowly walked toward her room. Olivia continued working outside. She felt relieved, because after everything that happened, this was the first time her mother looked almost normal. Later that evening, Olivia's father Daniel Parker was informed about everything. He had been away because of work and did not know the full situation. When he heard everything, he decided that he would come back before the final prayer date given by Father Michael. He wanted to see the situation himself. He told Olivia, "I will come soon. We will handle this together." Olivia felt a little stronger after hearing her father's words. She believed that finally her family would be together again. That night after closing the store, Olivia prepared dinner. She called out, "Mom, come eat with me." But there was no response. She called again, "Mom, are you sleeping?" Still no answer. A strange fear returned to Olivia's heart. She slowly walked toward Rachel's room. The door was slightly open. She pushed it gently, and the moment she looked inside, her entire world stopped, because what she saw next was something she never imagined even in her worst nightmare. Olivia Parker slowly pushed the door of her mother Rachel's room. Her heart was beating faster with every second. She called softly, "Mom, are you okay?" But there was no answer. The room was completely silent. Olivia stepped inside, and the moment she looked toward the bed, she froze. Rachel was not there. The room looked empty. For a few seconds Olivia thought maybe her mother had gone somewhere else. She looked around the room carefully. Then she noticed something strange. The window was slightly open. Cold air was entering the room. The curtains were moving slowly. Olivia felt a sudden fear inside her heart. She immediately ran outside and started searching for her mother. She checked the kitchen, the living room, the backyard, but Rachel was nowhere. Then she heard a weak sound coming from inside the room again. Olivia slowly turned around. She walked back toward Rachel's bedroom, and there she saw something that made her completely terrified. Rachel was standing near the corner of the room. Her back was facing Olivia. She was completely silent. Olivia said, "Mom, why are you standing there?" Rachel slowly turned around. Her eyes looked empty. Her face looked tired. But there was something different. Something Olivia had seen before. That same strange expression. That same feeling of someone else being present. Olivia stepped back. She remembered what Father Michael had told her. The problem was not completely finished. Suddenly Rachel whispered, "He is still here." Olivia's heart stopped. She asked, "Who, Mom? Who is still here?" Rachel looked at her daughter with tears in her eyes. She said, "The one who came with me from the forest. He is still watching us." Olivia became frightened. She immediately called Father Michael. She explained everything. Father Michael listened carefully. Then he said, "Do not panic. Keep your mother away from dark places. Do not let her stay alone. I will come as soon as possible." Olivia stayed beside her mother the entire night. She did not sleep. She was afraid that something could happen again. The next morning Father Michael arrived. He checked the house again. This time he looked more serious than before. He walked toward the old cupboard, then toward the kitchen. Then he stopped near the entrance of the house. He said, "Something is still connected to this place. We removed it from your mother, but the energy left behind is still here." Olivia asked, "Can my mother be completely free?" Father Michael replied, "Yes, but we need to complete the final prayer." The day for the final ritual arrived. Olivia was waiting for that moment. She believed that after this her family would finally return to normal. Her father Daniel also came back home, for the first time in many days. The entire family was together. Daniel looked at Rachel with sadness. He could not believe what his wife had gone through. He held Olivia's hand and said, "You did everything you could to protect your mother." Olivia started crying. She had been strong for so long, but now she finally felt like she had someone beside her. That evening, Father Michael prepared everything for the final prayer. The house was quiet. Everyone stood outside the room. Rachel was sitting inside. The prayer began. At first everything seemed normal, but after a few minutes, the atmosphere suddenly changed. The lights started flickering. The air became cold. Rachel started breathing heavily. Olivia looked at Father Michael with fear, but he continued the prayer. He knew this was the final battle. The thing that had entered Rachel's life was trying one last time to hold on, and what happened next would decide whether Rachel would ever return to her normal life again. The final prayer continued inside the house. Father Michael Brooks was standing in front of Rachel Parker and reading the prayers with complete focus. Olivia Parker stood nearby with her father Daniel and brother Lucas. Everyone was nervous. They knew that something powerful was happening inside that room. The temperature inside the house suddenly dropped. The windows started shaking slightly. The peaceful silence of the house disappeared. Rachel closed her eyes tightly. Her body started trembling. Olivia wanted to run toward her mother, but Daniel held her hand and stopped her. He knew they had to trust Father Michael. Suddenly Rachel opened her eyes. Her expression changed completely. The fear on her face disappeared, and a strange anger appeared. A deep voice came from her mouth. "You cannot take her away from me." Everyone became frozen. Olivia felt tears in her eyes, because that voice was not her mother's voice. Father Michael continued the prayer without stopping. He said, "This woman does not belong to you. Leave her now." The voice laughed. A cold, terrifying laugh that filled the entire room. "You think you can defeat me? I have been with her for a long time." Olivia remembered the forest road. She remembered the night when everything started. The phone falling. Her mother walking toward the trees. The strange behavior afterward. Everything was connected. Father Michael raised his voice and continued the prayer. Rachel started crying. For a moment Olivia could see her real mother again. Rachel looked at her daughter and whispered, "Olivia, please do not leave me. I am scared." Olivia started crying. She wanted to hold her mother. She wanted to tell her everything would be okay. But Father Michael said, "Stay where you are. Let her fight this. If you break the circle of protection, it may become stronger." Rachel's body started shaking again. The dark presence inside her was fighting back. The lights went off for a few seconds. The entire room became dark. Then suddenly a loud sound came from outside the house. Everyone looked toward the window. The old tree outside was moving violently. Even though there was no strong wind, Father Michael understood. He said, "It is trying to return to its place of power." The shadow outside appeared again. This time it was larger than before. It moved around the tree like smoke. The deep voice came again. "She belongs to me. I will not leave her." Father Michael stepped toward the door. He looked directly at the shadow and said, "You have no power here anymore. This family is protected." The shadow became angry. The entire house shook. Rachel screamed in pain. Olivia covered her ears, but Father Michael continued the prayer. Slowly the shadow started becoming weaker. The voice became lower. The darkness around the tree began disappearing. After several minutes, everything became silent. Rachel suddenly collapsed. Daniel and Olivia immediately ran toward her. They helped her sit up. Rachel opened her eyes. This time her eyes looked normal. She looked at Olivia and started crying. "My daughter, what happened to me?" Olivia hugged her mother tightly. After so many days of fear, she finally felt that her mother had returned. Father Michael looked at the family and said, "The connection has been broken, but your mother needs time to recover. She has suffered a lot." Everyone thanked him. Olivia knew that without his help, she might have lost her mother forever. But even after everything ended, one question remained in Olivia's mind. What exactly happened on that forest road that night? And why did that darkness choose her mother? Because some mysteries never get completely answered, and some places always carry stories that people are afraid to tell. After that night, everything slowly started returning to normal. Rachel Parker was finally free from the darkness that had controlled her for so long. But the memories of those terrifying days never left Olivia Parker. Every time she looked at her mother, she remembered how close she had come to losing her. For many weeks Rachel needed rest. Her body was weak, her mind was exhausted. But slowly she started becoming the same loving mother Olivia had always known. She started smiling again. She started talking with her family again. And most importantly, she started living without fear. The family store opened again. Daniel returned to his work. Lucas continued his studies. and Olivia went back to her normal routine. But one thing changed forever: the forest road between their house and Sophia's home. Nobody wanted to use that road after sunset anymore. Even though nothing unusual happened again, the memories were enough to keep everyone away. Sophia and Ethan were never told the complete truth. Thomas and Olivia decided that they should not create more fear in Sophia's life. They only told her that Rachel had suffered from a serious health problem and needed time to recover. Months passed. Life slowly moved forward. But Olivia always remembered one thing: the night when everything started. The night when her mother stopped in front of the forest. The night when something unknown followed them home. She believed that her faith protected her during those dangerous moments. She believed that the prayers she followed every day gave her strength when fear tried to break her. Olivia says that if she had not followed her beliefs, if she had lost hope, maybe the result would have been completely different. Even today, whenever she passes near a lonely road or a dark forest area, she remembers those nights, and she always prays for protection. Because she knows that some things exist in this world that cannot be explained easily. Some experiences stay hidden, until someone finally decides to share them. Olivia shared this story because she wanted people to understand one thing: never ignore strange changes in the people you love. Sometimes the person standing in front of you may be fighting a battle that nobody can see. And sometimes faith and courage become the only strength you have. This was the terrifying experience of Olivia Parker and her family. A story that began with a simple journey through a forest road, but ended with a memory that would remain with them forever. If you have ever experienced something unusual or unexplained in your life, you can share your story with us. Your experience may become the next story we tell. Until then, stay safe, take care of yourself, and always keep faith alive. So this is the story. Follow Nightmare Files for more horror and creepy stories.